Hello and welcome to another point 0.5 episode of Big Fellas, another installment of the little half episode bonus stuff. That's because it is just me by myself. So it's not going to be too long. Just gonna ramble about what's been going on. Not like there's a lot of things going on, whatever, it's just kind of me spitting. To be spitting though. Spitting to the mic. Anyway, January's just kind of been a weird month for everybody. Everybody's kind of going back to like classes. Things have just been going down. Hence why I'm by myself and why I'm recording. What is this? 22.5? Whatever. You guys can read the title. I hope you guys can read in general. I can barely read. I know that much for sure. So, just gonna talk for like a couple minutes. This is kind of like unscripted as it is. So this is just me, like you just picked up the phone and this is the voice message that you got from me. All right. Like friends do. Do you ever leave voice messages for people anymore? Or do you just like, okay, they didn't pick up once or twice, whatever. I'll just text them. Sometimes I leave voice messages still, but that's because I'm, of other things. Like if I'm calling not a cell phone, I'll leave a voice message, of course, or a professional place of establishment, or like a coworker. Actually, no, I just text coworkers at that point. Anyway, enough of that. So, I want to talk about Sec Anime. I went to Sec Anime very recently, and it was pretty fun. Mostly, a lot of my time at Sec Anime was mostly in the vendors hall. Granted, it was pretty big and expansive, so it's not like I was bored the whole time or anything. I just spent a lot of time in there. Spent some time in the autograph area because they're right next to each other, connected by like kind of like a fake wall. I don't know. Just spent a lot of time in the vendor hall and artist alley. I was uh, recording a lot of B-roll for an upcoming video where I go around and interview the locals cosplaying at Sec Anime. I'm hoping that will jumpstart more content for the year. More videos of me just spitting. Not spitting, but just more of me videos doing my style of videos. I was looking back to some of the footage. For people just ahead of time, there were some weird things going on with the footage, especially with the sound department, so excuse me for that. I didn't figure it out till I recorded the footage, and, it's just gonna have to be a thing, sadly, but I did enjoy the recording part of it, and man, I'm breathing a lot. So you're gonna see a lot of that. I like the idea of me going around and asking these people like just random questions like, "What's 9 plus 10?" I'm just kidding. Well, you guys will see the video and see what type of questions I asked the cosplayers. But at first, I was very nervous to actually ask, because I had to like kind of think. I'm like, well, first of all, this isn't a real interview. This is a joke. This is along the lines of like an Eric Andre sketch, or a something along the lines of like the style of Sacha Baron Cohen, except I'm not trying to bring up people's inner racism. Not today. Or prejudice, my bad. Either or. Instead, this is me just kind of like being absurd and seeing how I can throw people in for a loop, which I do a lot. And I got thrown for a loop sometimes. Spoiler, you can skip this part, skipping like 10 seconds from here. Naruto bamboozled me. I got bamboozled by the seventh Hokage, Boruto's dad. Like, damn. How was I supposed to do that? He uses ninja's technique. He talked no jutsu to me. He bamboozled my ass. But that's besides the point. I was more the bamboozler, but again, I'm not trying to trigger anybody or anything. It was just more like I didn't, asking questions, but there's a few that I didn't get to ask that I thought would be really funny, and I wish I did, but I just kind of like had to think. I'm like, okay, because a lot of these cosplayers I asked were like from properties or things I know, or at least sort of know. I'm familiar with, so I can understand things. For example, I interviewed these like Genshin Impact cosplayers. And I barely know anything about Genshin. I can name characters because people love talking about these characters, and their names aren't very hard to remember. They're pretty basic. For example, like, characters like Amber, who has like, the bunny ears and the stupid thing. I played a little bit of Genshin. I played like maybe 30 minutes of Genshin Impact, and then I was just like, whatever. Don't care. It's a gotcha game that I don't want to get myself involved in because, listen, man, Fate Grand Order already leaves me in debt, okay? I don't feel like being indebted to another game, but that's besides the point. I think Genshin's alright. I just can't catch me playing it too much. Playing it at all. But, rounding back to what I was saying, it's fun for me to do those kind of videos, but at the same time, my main difficulty was like, well, shoot, I gotta find people who look like they're game for it, Hence why you'll see in the video that I interview interesting cosplayers. Some just like normal, they look like, this is the type of person. And other things like, one of the first ones I did was the isekai truck, or a man with a cardboard cutout where he stuck his head into the isekai truck and he said he was the isekai truck, or isekai truck. That's very funny because guess what? I can kind of bamboozle him and he'll play along, and that's perfect. But sometimes it's really just like who looks game, and that was kind of the hard part because sometimes people were like in bigger groups or like whatnot and so on and so forth. I remember a few times when I'm like interviewing people, people just stop and watch, and I would feel a bunch of eyes on me. I'd look around like, oh, but then I would just go back to focusing on the person I'm talking to. And of course, I carried on that doofy mic, so I was always pointing this mic out, and someone said, "Oh, nice mic." I'm like, "Thanks, it's not real." Honestly, I think the biggest part about this is that microphone that I bought from a dollar store and then put some electrical tape that I had in my backpack around it. I'm like, whatever. I'm gonna put some tape on this for no reason. Give it more color separation, I guess. I couldn't tell you why I did that, but it's funny regardless. So, that's just my pre-release thoughts about this. At the time of this recording, it should be, I don't know, it should be out after this recording. Not like right after, but soon after. Between this and maybe the next episode. Hopefully, I have Saber working on it, and he's a great editor. He's also not here right now, so, rest in peace, man, wherever he is. I hope he's doing alright. I'm acting like Saber died. I'm just kidding. No, he's fine. He's, like I said, everybody's just been busy. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Sec Anime and how recording that video went, and, it'll come out soon. Other than that, a lot of my time at Sec Anime was just like, spending a lot of time in the vendor's hall and just seeing what's there. I love looking at merchandise. I love seeing like these interesting things in person. Yeah, I can go online and be like, oh wow, look at this $300 fucking statue of like fucking Luffy One Piece. I'm like, okay, cool. And then seeing that statue in person, I'm like, wow. Oh, I'm like, wow. This is amazing. I love just seeing merchandise and then going, look at all this merchandise I'll never have. And then me being impressed and in awe turns into envy and rage. And it's, I've murdered half of the congoers because they bought the last fucking Naruto. And I wanted that Naruto. I'm just kidding. No. They just end up like looking around like, oh wow. And then like, sometimes you have a limited budget or you just don't want to buy too much or whatever. But it's a lot of times a good place to find things that you generally can't find. For example, one of my big purchases was the Hainu Real Grade Gundam that just came out, or the Real Grade Hainu Gundam that came out late last year. Probably back in September or something, around that time. Of course, it hit Japan first, but in the States it came out like maybe a couple months after, and it was super hard to get a hold of. And it still really is. A lot of places have it sold out, but I went to a booth that I was familiar with before, and I had it, like, just buried underneath a bunch of things. I'm like, I asked him how much of that, and I thought he was about to tell me, like, $100 or something, because they are hard to find at the moment, because they're very popular. And he's like, it's 55. I'm like, perfect. I'm like, great, I'll take that right now, sir. Give me that bad boy. And have I started building him yet? No. Because seeing how many people regard this thing, and how great the kit is in video and on pictures, I'm like, man, I'm a little afraid. I'm used to building stuff like this. I built its anime counterpart, the original New Gundam, which came out a few years back. I built that like about like a year ago, and I like that thing. I have it on my desk. I like to tinker with it and repose it every once in a while. It's a great little. It's sturdy. I like it. It looks great. But the high New Gundam just intimidates me because I want to make sure I don't mess up anything from the kit. I want to make it like look all nice, and maybe I'll start on it soon. But yeah, that's just my thoughts. Of course, I want to like build it, but I also have some other things I need to build. For example, I have like 4 SD kits. If you don't know what that is, it's a little super deformed kits. It's the one where they have like the big heads, the little body. I have like 4 of those kits that I want to work on. I should work on, but of course, it's more like just me sitting down and actually doing them because they don't take any effort to make. You're not even supposed to use little like hobby nippers at all for them. You can literally just pop them out by your like thumb and just put them together. You're supposed to like it's not a lot of effort, but I want to like not use the stickers. Just have a bunch of Gundam markers, and I want to paint them up and add in the detail myself. I did that last year for my July 4th stream. I did that with the Freedom of Strike Gundam because I thought it was really appropriate because freedom, America. I painted that live on stream. You can see the VOD of that on Twitch. Hopefully it's still there. If it's not, then I guess it's lost to time. So, yeah. Besides that, other things I got was like some merchandise, a lot of Hollow Life things. It's on my Instagram and whatnot. You can go see that. It's cool. You'll see in the video that I bought another Nezo berry. Those big hit things are called Nezo berries. They just kind of laid down. They have these big heads. It's super hard to like photograph them sometimes because they're laying down and like their outfit is like the cool thing about them sometimes. But I bought one for a Mash Kyrilite's Chaldea uniform from she's from Fate, of course, the main like little poster girl of Fate Grand Order. I got her, and right now my collection grows. I've bought 2 last year, and it's just kind of been growing. A lot of Love Live ones, like 4 Love Live ones, 2 Fate ones now, and then the other ones are from Toho and Konosuba. I can name them all right now, but it doesn't really matter. Don't really matter. I'll probably post more pictures of them on Twitter or Instagram because I like collecting these things. I like their style of the whole like lay down things. I like how they look. I like their aesthetic, and I just want to keep growing my collection because I like having these armies of these things because they're super cute. I like them a lot. Anyway, like I said, I got like 2 art prints, some stickers, patch. Again, you can see it all on Instagram. Like I said earlier, that's more or less it. First day was just walking around with Kralos after the podcast. We literally recorded that podcast episode from like last week. Went to Sec Anime, like 2 days after, like a day and a half after. He shot some footage. Hopefully he'll release that on his channel soon. If he does, I'll update the links in the description where you can check it out. I think I may have appeared in some stuff, but a lot of it's just kind of like cosplayers and him filming, experimenting with the 16mm stuff. Pretty cool things. He couldn't do it on day 1 because he forgot a part for it, but he was pretty down about it. But I cheered him up. He got cheered up by the end of the day, and it was pretty good considering all things. Saturday was a big day. That's where I filmed everything. That's where he filmed a lot of his stuff, and then Sunday I showed up with a friend and him for the last day, and it was more again me walking around the vendor hall. With the friend I brought because he likes to look around for stuff too. He's really new to conventions. This was like the second convention he's ever been to. So, yeah. My only regret is that a lot of cool voice actors and whatnot were there, and I didn't get the chance to ever see them or or see too much of them, or even like go in line and get an autograph. I wish I did. I really wish I did, but c'est la vie. I have Somerset anime to look forward to, so I'll be okay. Anyway, that's just my second anime experience. Got to hang out. Very cool. It's a great environment. I really like the con environment because you get to see these people just like, oftentimes, especially since a lot of the cons attract like teenagers. A lot of times in like, high school, fucking, you're not allowed to be like a weeaboo all the time. You can't walk around and embrace because when I was in high school, people would see something anime and be like, what is that? And then like, especially if it's not like anything popular, for example, like the shonen stuff like Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, or One Piece, if you have anything that's unrelated to that, they're just like, oh, what is that? Especially since I like a lot of the Slice of Life and idol stuff. I was very much into that. And people would be like, oh, what are these girls, man? I'll be like, yo, leave me alone. I'm an otaku. Leave me alone before I lecture you about the history of idols. And then they'd be like, then they call me some slurs I can't repeat because I want to not be canceled. But, that's regardless of everything. It's this cool environment. Yada, yada, yada. People were being themselves. It was like coming out of the closet. For some people, almost literally. But yeah, it's a great, just to see people be themselves and be around people who are also being themselves, who share very similar interests, whether they barely like anime, whether they like more like, it's really weird to say stuff like this is pop culture. I think I find it very odd, because when I was a kid, especially a younger kid, it wasn't until like the release of the first Iron Man movie that superheroes were considered pop culture. It was very much counterculture, but I guess now stuff like this, like anime and superheroes and whatnot, are just pop culture. I don't know what is counterculture anymore. Maybe someone in the comments can tell me what they think is counterculture. Let me know down below. Anyway, that was the little bonus 2.5 episode of Big Fellas, another 0.5 for the books. It's really weird by myself. I feel like I could turn this into like one of those classic commentary videos where I have like gameplay of me playing some fucking Sea of Stowe surfing. Me playing some Counter-Strike Global Offensive surfing maps. And I'd be like, literally, I saw this kid dressed up as Dream. I saw a lot of Dream kids. I think that was very funny. I wanted to interview him, but I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to bug him. I'm not going to bug the Dream kid. Alright. This is his weekend, or their weekend. I don't know. Fucking some of them. It was a lot of kids. There was like no grown person over the age of maybe 16 that was dressed as Dream. They were all like kids, But it's a very easy thing, because you just put on the mask and in the green hoodie, you'd be like, that's what the point of the mask is. So, if you're a fan of Dream, unsubscribe from my channel. I do not care. If I catch you commenting on my channel, I'll ban you, and then I'll go to your house and have intercourse with your mother, and then I'll tell everybody in my Modern Warfare 2 Xbox 360 lobby that I had intercourse with your mother, and you will have to live with that shame that I'm your new stepdad. And no one wants me as their stepdad. I should know. You should ask Trumo. He does not want me as a stepdad. I tell him it's going to happen. As Drake once said, she said, "Do you love me?" I tell her, in time, all will be dust. So, yeah. Thanks for listening to me ramble for like almost 20 minutes, give or take. And, I'll see you when I see you.